So we want to go ahead and start this evening. So when Alexis does get on, Alexis prepared the material for tonight's presentation. So Alexis is a 4-H volunteer with the Warren Wranglers 4-H Club, and she also serves as the treasurer for the Washington County 4-H Advisory Committee, and she serves on the Barlow Fair Board. So those are just some of her different types of involvement. She's also somewhat a recent alumni of Washington County 4-H and was very active as a 4-H member. So one of the first things that Alexis wanted to do was she wanted to start with a video that is on the state 4-H website. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So this particular resource on the state 4-H website, you're welcome to take a look at. It is at Ohio. You should be seeing the gavel on your screen, everyone. So this is at ohio4h.org. And then you go to the Families tab, Members, and then Officer Resources. So there's information here about each of the different offices that we have available through our 4-H clubs, as well as some resources for each of those offices, and then also a video. So we're going to start here with the, take a look at the treasurer resources. So on here, you may already have your book, and I saw Travis, you had your book there a second ago. And so that book is also on here if you do not have the book, but there's also some other resources like a budgeting sheet, checks and balance, or a check balancing sheet, a record of the club finances, and then, excuse me, and then also the treasurer's report and a yearly summary. So we'll go ahead and start with the video, and then after that, we'll do some introductions.
Congratulations on your new role as 4-H Club Treasurer. You must now fulfill the expectations of the members by serving as a hardworking and effective leader. My name is Nat from the Ohio 4-H Teen Leadership Council, and I am here with you today to discuss some of the responsibilities you will be required to fulfill in the coming year. This office requires you to handle all money matters of the club and maintain accurate financial records. It is your responsibility to prepare a budget to guide the club and spend money only with the club approval with a 2/3 majority vote. This being said, never mix your own money with the club's money or use it for your own needs. As treasurer, you must keep accurate records in the treasurer's record book of all income and expenses. You are expected to deposit all funds in the bank while paying all bills promptly as approved by the club. When paying for any transaction, only pay by check and have paperwork for all bills paid. It is critical that you write receipts for all money collected and maintain a copy of receipts in your records. Prepare an accurate treasurer's report for each club meeting. Collect dues if your club has them, and keep an accurate record of dues paid. As an officer, it is necessary to complete your treasurer's record book, including the year-end summary, prior to the end of the year audit. You may find a 3-ring binder a useful tool to keep an accurate record. Being the club's treasurer is a big responsibility. Be excited to put your talents to use in this coming year while serving as your 4-H club's treasurer. By utilizing the skills we discussed, referring to your treasurer's resource guide, and consulting with your advisor, you will be ready to handle the position as your club's treasurer. For more information about the duties of the treasurer, refer to the officer resource page, which can be found at ohio4h.org. If you have any questions, ask your advisor or your local extension office, and they will be able to help you. Congratulations again, and good luck on your role as the treasurer of your 4-H club.
So Alexis, are you on? Hi, Josie. Okay, so if Alexis is on, we will, she must not be able to talk or she would be talking. So why don't you guys go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself, tell what club you are with, and what your responsibilities have been so far as treasurer of the club. I know you may not have been meeting, but that's okay. So your name, your 4-H club, and then what responsibilities you've had so far as the treasurer. So Flora, you're at the top of my list. You want to go ahead and start?
So I'm Flora. I'm in the Oak Grove Explorers, and well, I haven't really had any tasks or anything yet to do, so I don't really know what to say, but
That's okay. We understand.
well, yeah, that's about it. We didn't really get like our last meeting. We just elected officers, and we didn't get the chance to actually like do the job. So
Thank you, Flora. Josie, how about you?
So I am the treasurer for Running Wild 4-H Club. I've had past offices in my other clubs. I've been president for my shooting club, and I've been president for a couple of my other clubs, as long as vice president. So
Good, thank you. Travis?
My name's Travis Morris. I'm treasurer with Bullseye 4-H Shooting Club. It would be keeping the money accurate there and writing checks out to a couple of businesses.
Okay, good. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah.
Aiden.
I'm Aiden, and I'm from the Honeysuckle Hills 4-H Club, and this is my first year doing treasurer, and I've been the recreational leader. And that's
Good.
it.
Good. Thank you, Aiden. Did I catch everyone, Catherine? I think I've got everyone. Okay. So you want to help me through this, Catherine, as we go?
Sure.
And so
So Bruce, before you go on,
Yes.
maybe you can text Alexis and just have her call in by phone
okay.
instead of trying to do the virtual route, because we should be able to hear her by telephone.
What's that number? Do you have that on the invite? Can you look that up since I'm sharing my screen?
Mm, let's see. So are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, it would be 312, or no, that's Chicago.
That doesn't
Let's
matter.
do, okay, so 312
Okay.
626 6799.
Okay. ID number.
319 154
319
154
154
110.
110. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go on with the job description that Alexis pulled together. So some of you have mentioned a few of these things when you were talking about your responsibilities and paying bills or writing checks. So one of the first things is to handle all the money matters for the club, whether that is all these things that are listed here, but it's also being accountable for the money, making sure it gets deposited on the proper time, also giving a report back to the club. So the second point there is spending money only with club approval. So who has had to do this, or you know that your club has given approval before? Has anyone had to do that, or that you've maybe been in a club meeting?
Travis
And-
has.
Go ahead.
I said Travis has.
Okay. So, sorry, is Alexis, are you on? I think you might be on mute. Okay, Alexis, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yay, good deal. We should
But
have
I
had,
can't see.
we should have had you call in before.
Oh.
So we have watched the video, Alexis, and we're going through the job description right now. And I don't know if you have the slides in front of you or not.
Yes.
Okay, good. I just started on the job description and basically got the first one done. We were starting on the second one of talking about how to get club approval for spending money. Do you want to pick up from there?
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can the kids hear me too?
I hear Bruce.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for spending money with only the club's approval, that gets done by in your guys' meetings. You guys have to present a motion, and you guys have to require a second for that motion, and then the club has to vote on it. And then if the motion passes, then you as the treasurer can go ahead and write the check or disperse the funds that you need to. And you can deposit all funds into the bank. So that means like the money that you collect during the meetings or outside, depositing it into the bank in a timely manner. You pay bills by checks. That goes hand in hand with the spend money only with the club's approval. That's the only time that you can write checks is when you get the club's approval. And so you pay bills is with the checks because you never use cash for anything. And then write receipts for all money collected. That way the tells that they have paid, and then that way the club also has a record that the 4-H'er has paid for their project book or their dues or whatever it may be. And then prepare monthly treasurer's reports. So you do that at the beginning of the month. You'll prepare your treasurer's report. So this is April, which means you'd be giving the March report because you always give the month that happened beforehand. Some clubs might have you help with preparing a budget, something extra. They might have you help with collecting dues. You might need like an Excel sheet to do this or something to keep track of everyone. And then like another key thing is to make sure you're completing your treasurer's book. So then that way the club knows how much their finances are. Okay, next slide.
Okay.
Okay, so meetings. So for your meetings, this is what you'll be expected to do. You have to give your treasurer's report. You'll have to collect money from the 4-H'ers or their parents and write receipts for them. You'll have to present the bills to pay, and then write your checks after your meetings for anything that might have got any motions that might get passed during your meeting. Okay, next slide. Okay. So when you are, you need to make sure that you have the name of the person that's giving you the money, the date that they gave you the money, what the money is for, if they gave you cash or check, And make sure you include the check number with it, and then the amount of how much it was. If you have all of those 5 things, then that means that the money can get lost or confused. Because if you have 10 kids giving you money and you don't write down what kid exactly gave you, then you could run into problems later trying to say, oh yeah, this person paid their dues or this person didn't pay their dues. Because if you don't get all that information, you could lose track. Okay, next slide.
Okay.
Oh, is this where you added this slide,
No,
Bruce?
It's the one after.
Okay, the one after this. Okay. So this is an example of how to write a receipt if you are receiving cash. So the example that's in the Treasurer's Resource Guide in your Treasurer's book says Molly and Mary Newcomer give you $10 in cash for their yearly dues at the March 15th, 2020 meeting. So you have your receipt, and so this one is receipt number 1, and you have your date, which is March 15th, 2020. It's from Molly and Mary Newcomer. The amount is $10. It's for their yearly dues, and then in parentheses it says that $5 is for Molly and $5 is for Mary, and then it says that there's cash, and then it has the treasurer's signature next to it saying that they did receive that money from those kids. So a receipt can be pretty simple. Bruce, you said the next slide is where you have where you inserted the slide.
Right. So what they see on the screen now is 2 different types of receipt book. One could just be, it's a little bit more complicated. One of them is, the other one just come from the dollar store. And so they are duplicate receipts. So when you write a receipt, you're going to give them the original and tear it out. And then you're always going to have a copy that's going to be in your book, so you can be able to go back and look.
And those books and those receipt books are fairly cheap. I know some clubs use them and some don't. Like Bruce said, that one is just from the dollar store, so you can get them about anywhere. And it's just a safe way for you to keep track of where everything's going. Okay. Next slide.
Highly recommend that you cover on if the club has not given you a receipt. Okay, next slide.
Okay. So it's the same thing. So this is how to write a receipt for if you get a check. So it says, Sam Jones gives you a $15 check, number 1234, for 2 project books and yearly dues at the March 15th, 2020 meeting. So this would be the next receipt in the book. So it's receipt number 2. The date is March 15th, 2020. That's when your meeting was. It's from Sam Jones. It's for his yearly dues of the $5 and 2 project books for $5 each. And now this one's for a check, so you'd circle the check or indicate on the receipt however you would do that. And make sure you include the check number with it. And then this treasurer's signature saying that he received the money. Okay. Next slide.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is talking about making a deposit. So we're going to just use those 2 examples of money that we received from the previous 2 slides. So we have the Newcomers family's $10 cash. And we have the Jones family's $15 check, number 1234. So on the deposit slip, it always says the account. So this would be the Clover Clan 4-H Club account, and that's the 4-H club. It has their address. That has the date at the bottom. That's what you would write in, the date that you're making the deposit. And then if you start with the column, so it says total cash. So we only had 1 cash, so that was $10. But if you would get more than 1 cash, like if you would have 20, like if you have two people pay you $10 and you'd have $20, all the cash goes on that same line. Doesn't matter how many people gave it to you. It all gets lumped into one category. And then the next thing is the checks. And the checks are different because you have to write each one of them out. So we only got one check. So it's check 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's for $15. And then the less cash means that if you only had checks and you were depositing checks and you needed cash back for something, then that's money that you would subtract. So that's money that you wouldn't want to go in the bank, but you still wanted that cash checked. That check cashed. And then you have your total. So our total was $25. Does anyone have any questions about how to fill out a deposit slip? No. One thing with checks is too, on the back side, if anyone's ever gotten a check before, you might already know that there's the endorser, and that's where you have to sign for it. Some people have stamps, like the advisory committee, we have a stamp, so when I have a check, I just stamp that on the back. Or some people have to sign it. So that may not be you, the one that would be signing it. That might be your advisor. So you just have to check with your advisor to see who would be the person who would be the endorser for your guys' 4-H club.
Question on that,
Okay.
Alexis. Can they also write for deposit only?
I'm not sure what you mean, for deposit only.
So rather than someone signing the check, because if the check is made out to the Clover Clan 4-H Club, it would have to be signed Clover Clan 4-H Club. So if you, on the back of the check, rather than signing it but with my name, I would write for deposit only. So the check can only be deposited to the payee. Is that appropriate to do?
Yes. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct,
Yes,
yes.
I understand. I've never had that happen, so I'm not sure.
I think it is, so.
Okay. Next slide.
Okay.
Well, is the next thing about writing a check?
It is, yes.
Okay. So for writing a check, let's see if it's going to pop up here. Okay. So this one says that the 4-H club has a pizza party for its members. A check needs to be made out for Pizza Land for $68.50. So checks are kind of like the deposit slips. They have the 4-H club's information on the left-hand side, and they have the check number on the right-hand side. This is check number 101, and the date of the check is for March 15th, 2020. That's when your 4-H meeting was. It is paid to the order of Pizza Land, because that's who you guys got the pizza from. It is for $68.50. You have to, first you'll write it out in just number-wise, and then on the next line, you'll spell it out of the $68.50. You don't do the cents, you don't spell that out, you do it for 100, like over $1. And then you always make sure you put a memo of what the check is for. So it's for the pizza for the March meeting, and then the treasurer's signature. So when you're writing out a check, you want to make sure that you use a pen, so that way nothing can be changed. And if you would happen to make a mistake writing the check, like if you don't make it out to the right person, or if it's not for the right amount, then you would write void on the check, and then you would just start over. But you don't want to get rid of that voided check. You want to keep it with your checkbook. So that way, whenever you go back and you think, oh no, what happened to check number 101, then you'll be able to find it. And you always want to make sure that you fill it out all the way. So like you don't want to just write 68, because if you just write 68 instead of like $68.50, then someone could change the check later, which would not be a good thing. So if there wasn't 50 cents with this, if it's just $68, then we would still do 0 over 100, meaning that there was 0 cents. Anything more for that?
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
And where you had the money all added up there right after you write the check out in the checkbook, can you just write void on it there if you check?
Are you talking about like the check registry?
Yeah.
Yes. That's actually the next slide. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so good point, Travis, whenever you write the check, you want to make sure that you're putting it in the check registry. It's like a little booklet that should stay with your checks, and it has like all the same information that the check has on it. So it'd have the date, who it gets paid to, the amount that it is, and then that way you can go back and look to see who your check was made out to. So yes, Travis, that's correct. There is a check registry that goes along with them. Anything else about writing a check? No? Next slide, Ben.
So that takes us to the record of club finances. Is that where you want to be?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is kind of like what the check registry would look like, where it has the date and who the money would go to, and then if it was a check, or you could say that if it was a money going out of your club or money coming in. Each month, when you write your treasurer's report, you would look at your check registry, which would be similar to on the screen in your monthly bank statements, and you would see what checks have been cashed and what checks are still outstanding, and you'd see what money has been deposited. That's just an example of one that is on the extension website, and your may already have something set up. From your office may already have something set up for you. Any more on that? No? Okay. Next slide.
So this is the treasurer's report, Alexis.
Okay. So for your treasurer's report, like I said earlier, you always give you're a month behind on your treasurer's report. So you want to make sure that you have your club name, what your beginning balance is for the month, the money that was received, that means the money that came in, the money that was dispersed, the money going out, your ending balance, and then your treasurer will just off on it. The one that's on the screen is the example that is on the extension website. And then again, your club may already have a report set up that you can use. Once you have one set up, then you can just use that for each month, and you'll just modify the amounts that are in there. And this is also when you'd look at your bank statement and you'd see what was going out, what money was going out, and what money was coming in. Okay, next slide.
This is the March 2020 report.
Okay, so we're going to use the numbers that were in the numbers that we've used during this demonstration. So this is kind of like what an annual report would be set up like. So it has the 4-H Club at the top, Clover Clan 4-H Club, March 2020. So your beginning is $150.25. Your money received, so you have dues for $15 and for $10. So you have a total received money for $25. Then you have money dispersed. You have the Pizza Land for $68.50. So you have total dispersed $8.50. And then you have an ending balance of $106.75. So this report has the name of the club, the beginning or the month, the beginning balance, the money received, money dispersed, your ending balance, and then it has your treasurer's signature at the end. Does anyone have any questions about writing a report? Okay. That was all that I had, Bruce.
Okay, so Alexis, I might add to this report, this is something that treasurers, you might need to get with your advisors before the meeting. So you can, because you may not have access to everything you need for the report. So you'll want to copy that ahead of time, maybe call them on the phone or whatever it might be, just to make sure that you have the treasurer's report ready for the meeting.
Correct. And some clubs have more fundraisers, and some clubs have more money come in. So their advisors might be a little more hands-on with some people, with some treasurers than others. Like I know for our club, Nance handles a majority of it, and our treasurer mainly helps during the meetings. So I know each club is different, so you just want to make sure you talk to your advisor about what your club will expect of you.
Alexis, I might also 4-H members are probably not going to be signing checks. Those checks are probably going to be signed by 2 advisors in the club, because each check has to have just so that there's 2 people doing it and making sure that the work is done properly. But so there again, you would probably not be signing. The advisors may have you write. Understand what is happening and have that experience, but then probably wouldn't be signing on checks.
Bruce?
Yes, Travis.
I signed a check and Erica is above it too. There's when I round checks.
Okay, Travis, ask that question again.
I said there, when we do our bullseye treasurer's report, fill out checks, I sign for it, and then Erica signs above it.
Oh,
There.
okay. So you are signing checks. Okay, that's fine. Each club is a little different on how that is handled. Some banks will not allow a minor, which is a youth under the age of 18, to sign checks, but some do. Other questions?
You are unmuted.
Sorry, Alexis, I muted you. Any other questions? Catherine?
I think that Alexis covered everything well.
Okay, if our participants are all good, no one has any other questions, we will, we'll go ahead and close out the meeting.